Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we are going to talk about public finance in India. Public finance is one of the old branches of economics which highlights the role and functions of the government in an economy. Now, what is government? Government can be defined as a formal or informal institution created by the people in a specific particular region to perform various functions such as protection from external attacks, protection of private property of the people, generation of employment, then maintaining law and order in that particular region, provision of creating provision of social needs like education, health, etc. Now, these functions of government can be divided into two types, that is, obligatory functions and optional functions. Obligatory functions are those functions which are necessary for the government to perform. The main existence of government depends upon fulfillment of these obligatory functions. For example, what can be these obligatory functions? Let's see. Protection from external attacks, maintaining internal law and order, then maintaining foreign relations with other countries for trade purposes. Next is optional functions. Optional functions are those functions which are additional to the obligatory ones. Provision of education and health services, then social security, pensions and other welfare measures which are taken by the government comes under this category. Now, in order to fulfill these functions, the government requires funds. So that funds can be received from various sources. The whole concept of public finance is combination of public and finance. Public is a collective, we can say, for the individuals living within an administrative territory or unit. In economics particularly, it is used to signify the government which represents the common public. Finance simply means, in simple words, income and expenditure of the government. Therefore, if we put these words together, public finance is nothing but the study of principles of income and expenditure of the government at all the three levels: central, state and local. The structure of public finance can be bifurcated into 5 parts: public expenditure, public revenue, public debt, fiscal policy and financial administration. Today in this video we are going to discuss the first two ones, that is public expenditure and public revenue. Let's come to the first one, that is public expenditure. Public expenditure is that expenditure which is incurred by the public authority, that is central, state or local bodies, for protection of their citizens, for satisfying their collective needs and for promoting their economic and social welfare. Till 20th century, majority of the government, they have adopted laissez-faire policy. Laissez-faire policy is what is laissez-faire policy? It is the non-intervention policy of the government. Means the government will not interfere in trade. Under this policy, functions of government were restricted to the obligatory functions. But today's government, it does not only perform obligatory functions but also optional functions. So, study of public expenditure is an important part of the public finance. This public expenditure can be again divided into 4 parts. Let's see them one by one. First one is revenue expenditure. The main characteristic of this type of expenditure is that it is recurring in nature. That means it is incurred again and again. It cannot be incurred once and for all. This type of expenditure is used to carry on day-to-day functions of the government and provide various services. It is incurred very regularly. For example, administration cost of the government, then salaries, allowances and pensions of the government employees, medical and health services, all this comes under revenue expenditure. The main feature of this type of expenditure is it is recurring in nature. It is done to fulfill day-to-day expenditure of the government and it cannot be done for once and all. Next type of expenditure is capital expenditure. Capital expenditure is just the opposite of above, which we have seen, above expenditure, that is revenue expenditure. It is expenditure which is done for progress and development of the country. For example, huge investment made in different development projects, then loans granted to the state government and government companies, then repayment of, if the government have taken loan, then repayment of that loan, etc., comes under this category. The main characteristic of this type of expenditure is, first, huge sum is involved. Second, this type of expenditure is not done very regularly. It is done for long period of time, so it is not repeated very in short period of time. Next come to third type, that is development expenditure. The first and main characteristic of development expenditure, it is clear from the name itself that this type of expenditure is productive in nature. That means the expenditure which is done for production purpose, for increasing the productivity performance of the country, that expenditure is known as development expenditure. The expenditure which results in generation of employment, increase in production, bringing price stability in the country, is known as development expenditure. For example, expenditure done on health, education, industrial development, social welfare, research and development, etc. Opposite of it is the fourth type, that is non-development expenditure. Clear from the name itself, it is just the opposite of above mentioned expenditure. It is unproductive in nature. The government expenditure which does not yield any direct productive impact on the country is called non-development expenditure. For example, administration expenses, war expenses, etc. So this was all about the expenditure of the government, public expenditure. Next comes public revenue. Revenue means income. So public revenue, there are certain, as we have discussed, that there are certain functions which are on the government to perform, which are on the shoulders of the government to perform, and for performing those functions the government needs sources of income, that is revenue, public revenue. Public revenue can be divided into two types, tax revenue and non-tax revenue. Tax revenue, obviously clear from the name, which is the revenue which is generated by collecting taxes from the public, and non-tax revenue apart from it, whatever sources of income are there apart from payment of taxes, that comes under the category of non-tax revenue. Taxes can again be divided into two parts, direct tax and indirect tax. Direct tax is paid by the taxpayer on his income and property. The burden of tax is borne by the person on whom it is levied. He cannot transfer the burden of tax to others. Impact and incident of direct tax falls on the same person. For example, personal income tax paid by the person, wealth tax, etc. Indirect tax is levied on goods and services. It is paid at the time of the production or sale and purchase of a commodity or a service. The burden of an indirect tax, it can be shifted by the taxpayer, producers to other persons. Therefore, impact and incidence of tax are on different heads. For example, newly implemented GST, that is goods and services tax in India, has replaced almost all indirect taxes which were previously applied. Let's come to sources of non-tax revenue. Public revenue received by government administration, public enterprises, gifts and grants are called as non-tax revenue. These sources are different than the taxes, means they are collected other than the taxes. First one is fees. A tax is paid compulsory without any return service, whereas fee is paid in return for specific services rendered by the government. For example, education fee, then registration fee. If you go for giving some government exam, then application fee which you pay to the government, that comes under this category. Second is prices of goods and services. Modern government, it sells various types of commodities and services to the citizens. A price is a payment made by the citizens to the government for the goods and services sold to them. For example, railway fares, postal charges, etc. Third category is special assessment. The payment made by the citizens of a particular locality in exchange for their special facilities given to them by the authorities is known as special assessment. For example, local bodies, it can levy a special tax on the residents of a particular area where extra special facilities of road, energy, water supply, etc. are being provided. Fines and penalties. The government imposes fines and penalties on those who violate the laws of the country. The main objective of this imposition of fines and penalties is not to earn income but to discourage citizens from breaking the rules which are framed by the government. For example, fines for breaking traffic rules, not carrying license, etc. However, whatever income the government collects from this type of sources is very nominal, it is very small. Fifth is gifts, grants and donations. The government may also earn some income in the form of gifts by the citizens and others. The government may also receive grants from the foreign government and institution for general and specific purpose, maybe for welfare purpose also. Foreign aid, it has become an important source of development for developing countries like India. However, this type of source of income is very uncertain. Government cannot make plans or budgets on the basis of this type of income because it is uncertain. You don't know whether the government will receive this type of revenue for a particular year or not. Next is special levies. This is levied on those commodities the consumption of which is very harmful for the health and well-being of the citizens. For example, like fines and penalties, the objective is here not to earn income but to discourage the consumption of those harmful commodities by the citizens. For example, heavy duties are levied on wine, then alcohol products or other intoxicants. Last category is borrowings. The government can borrow from the people in the form of deposits, bonds, etc. It also gets loan from foreign governments and organizations such as IMF, that is International Monetary Fund, World Bank, etc. Loans are becoming more and more popular source of income for the government in today's time, in modern times. So this was all about public revenue and public expenditure. I hope you have understood the concept of public finance in India. The rest three of the functions or three of the structures which are remaining, I'll try to explain in the next video. Thank you.